Okay. After posting 3 things on Twitter or X about experiences with 14.1.4 and asking why I still haven't seen 14.2, right when I posted the third one, bam, my car starts downloading 14.2. It's about time. Today is the 25th in the afternoon. I'm currently up here in McAllen, letting it download over my Starlink mini satellite dish. It's kind of slow downloading because there's probably lots of people downloading. Heading back to the island, have to hit a supercharger on the way. You can't install an update while connected to a supercharger. Only, a destination charger, yes. So depending on how long it takes to download, hopefully I'll be there. Might install it before the download. But yeah, looking at there's only 144 downloading, which I'm one of them. My concern is that still quite a few are on 14.1.5. 14.1.4. Still 544 on there. 4% of the fleet on Tesla that Tesla is tracking. So that is the percentages that they're tracking. So that can translate before. One thing I don't think is good is that the latest version that everybody's downloading, that over 30% of the entire fleet is on, and actually over 50% if you look at these two. Those are on the 2025.44. This is on my Model 3 though. That's why I said zero version there. So they're already past the 38 build. So 50% of the fleet is not going to be able to see 14.2 because it's still behind what they're currently on. It'd be nice if they would drop 14.2 or 14.2.1, if they do have one, on 2025.44.4 or something. That way more people get everybody on it. It's a 14.2. It should be good for the public. So let's drop it on there and get rid of the 13.2.9. Unless it's too big to fit both versions, 12, because the 44.3 has both 12.6.4 and 13.2.9. If the 14.2 is too big and takes up too much space, they may not have both of them on there. And those cars just running the red light as usual. I cannot tell you how many people I see running the red light left and right. It is so common. Right now we're under some trees here, so the download may be paused. Yeah, still 2.6 megabytes. If I go to my Starlink app, and do a speed test, what's my speed like today? Not too shabby. It doesn't look like, about 98 megabytes down. I am shooting through the back window of my Model Y. I can't use the Starlink on the roof glass here because the filtering they have to keep all the heat out does too good of a job. it can't see the satellite through it. I do have my Uber app on right now, hoping to get a couple more rides. It's been a very slow day. I am hoping this 14.2 will get rid of a lot of the swerving the car does. I can usually find that out once I download it, or once it's installed. Then hopefully I won't get more customers reporting me for swerving too much. Even though it's the car driving, they don't like it. But it's amazing what the car sees and what it does. And, you know, it avoids accidents. You know, and I don't mean just something directly in front of us. Someone coming to the side, someone coming into my lane, someone coming up too fast behind you, someone cutting you off. And I personally think a lot of the times that, you know, if people get into an accident with full self-driving, it's because they may have accidentally disengaged and didn't give the car its chance to avoid it. Now, you see someone cut in front of you, what are you going to do? You have an instinct of laying on the horn, but what are you doing when you're laying on the horn? You're putting pressure against the steering wheel, so you won't let the steering wheel turn, which means you will wind up disengaging FSD if the car is trying to turn. Now, do we want the car to be able to blow the horn at somebody? I've had some people say that is one drawback about FSD because it won't use its horn. You know, like the guy behind me is blowing his horn. This is a stop sign. He doesn't have to stop. He has the right of way. This person behind me doesn't care. You've got to let that person go first. But you have people out here who are impatient. And, you know, sometimes what I feel like doing, I feel like just, you know, disengaging and putting myself into park. And there's a little swerve there. And that was for a roadkill. Okay. I personally don't like to run over roadkill. Now, could it have straddled it? Yeah, it could have. Just have your tires avoid it. Just odd to be 5:30 and going into night mode on the screen on the car and the phone and the sun setting. It just, I don't know. It's winter time. That's kind of normal this time. Now moving over, I guess, because this car was changing lanes, so it moved over because it realized that I'm going faster than what he is. I am doing 80 and a 75 in standard. I have a service appointment tomorrow morning because I have a slow leak in my front right tire at Tesla. Tesla warranty. I do have the Tesla warranty for the tires. That is, I think, $15 a month. But if you go through that warranty, clearly your warranty is voided if you go to Discount Tires to get in a patch a hole or rotate your tires. You have to pay Tesla to rotate your tire, their tires and everything. Let me see if I can get that right. And I'm going to drop it down to chill mode. Let it move over here. That guy's not letting me change lanes because he's coming into my lane. Okay, somebody else got that right. Sometimes I would say all requests, and then all of a sudden, now it's assigning to me for less than what it was. That's not right. But, you know, we're already moving way too fast. So can the car get over in time? It wants to get to this loop here. Okay, maybe it can make it. Maybe it can make it. Now, I would like to go back and take a look at that, what that original offer was on that ride. Because that's happened to me more than once. Where it will, you know, offer the ride. I go to match it. It says it's assigned to somebody else, and then it gives it to me at a lot lesser rate. It's bad enough that Uber and Lyft is taking so much. It's even worse that they're playing those type of games. And if I reject the ride, then it hurts your standings. So yeah, that is another complaint I'm going to have to file towards. And I'm getting tired of Uber doing. But right now I'm going to end this video here in a second. And pick this person up. And drive them to their destination. The gate's open, that's good. A like and subscribe would be nice. Thank you. Okay, as we sit here, we're waiting for full self-driving 14.2 to finish installing. Software update 2025.38.9.5. There is still well over 50% of the fleet on the 2025.44, I think it's 44 version build, that are not going to see FSD 14 for a while. Tesla really needs to get ahead of the game on the FSD so that so many more people can get on that. Because there's a lot of people who want to see it, but they're already ahead, so they're not going to see it. Yeah, as you can see, there's over 2,753 people downloading the 44.3 and 235 downloading the 44. But that puts them past the 14.2. So if we look at the status here, or the statistics, I mean, that puts 28, 21. That's 40. That's about 50% of the fleet is already past the 38 build. So hopefully, when they have the Christmas build out, because that's still not in those builds, hopefully when they have that out, they will throw 14.2 on it. That would be a nice Christmas present to all those people to get the 14.2. So right now, only 7.3% of the fleet is on the 14.2. We only have 0.7% stuck on the 14.1.7, 4% stuck on the 14.1.4, which is what I was on. So we need 542 plus, and only 0% on the 1.3. 14.17 is only 0.7. Only 142. There should be 500 and something to get everybody off the 14.1.4, but not yet. But yeah, all these guys here, they're going to be crying that they don't get to see the 14 build. And that's because they've already passed the current build of the software that is on. Sorry, guys. You can't go backwards. The reason why I'm saying is your version, because I'm on my Model 3 profile here on Teslafy's site. If I go and switch to the Model Y here, my Model 3 has over 360,000 miles on it. The Model Y here, as you can see, I currently have 64,711 miles on that. And go to software tracker here. Now that properly reflects my version as I am moving up to the latest 14.2. So even if my Model 3, which is hardware 3, could support 14.2, it won't be able to get it because it's already on the 44 build. So yeah, we're at about 60% installed, waiting for it to finish. Started around 6:15, I believe it was. Well, actually, I can look on here. Teslafy's site gives us a lot of good information. If I go up here, your software updates. Yeah, it doesn't say when it started installing on there. Didn't get the breakdown. This is the longest it's ever been between software updates. My average was 9 days between updates. This has been 27 days. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm in the advanced program too. You can see here, the 14.1.4 was 2 days from the discovery to the install. And the 14.1.3 was 0 days. 14.1.1 was 0 days. 14.1 was 0 days. Why were those almost immediate? And then why did it pause? I don't know. battery range, you know, from when I first bought it, I had 356 miles of range on a full charge. And after so many miles, 65,000 miles, I'm down to 305, 308, 305, you know, somewhere around that range. So it's not linear, it's a curve. So it's my battery's stabled out. So from brand new, I've lost, you know, almost immediately within, you know, a few days, from the 11th to the 18th, lost 6 miles of range and went down. It's kind of shocking when you see the decrease in the range. 317, 311, but I mean, it has kind of leveled out here, and hasn't really changed, even after another 12,000 miles. Only at 19% charge right now. But it's still a great car. Should last quite a long time. My Model 3, you know, it started out with 280 miles of range, and after 3.5 years and 360,000 miles, still the original battery. I'm at 70% capacity. I have a 202 mile range. It has been 202 miles for the past 100,000 miles. It really hasn't deteriorated any more than that. It's sad that I've only put in, you know, 90 miles on it in the past 30 days. It's just sitting there. I transferred the full self-driving from that car to this car. I don't drive it enough to justify paying $99 a month for full self-driving. I don't know if I should pay $8,000 and put full self-driving back on that car for whenever they have a hardware upgrade, if it's even worth it. I mean, the car needs a lot of loving. It needs a new windshield, a new top glass, shocks. It can use shocks, all 4 of them, for the suspension. The leather, you know, just from the grease, the natural oils in my arm, on the armrest and the armrest there, with the car sitting there parked, it just baking. Undoubtedly, I didn't clean it good enough, so I can see where the leather has gotten, the real leather has gotten affected by those oils. Same for the back of the seat. I don't know what to do with that car. Should I sell it? I don't know. I never drive it. But anyway, I'm going to end this video now because the battery's almost dead on this. And I'm waiting for this to install. I'm going to swap out the battery, and then we'll do our first ride here late at night heading back to the island. Like and subscribe would be nice. Thank you. Okay, we're sitting here waiting for the car to finish installing the latest software for full self-driving 14.2. We got some power coming back up. It's in the last few steps of the installation. The install started at 6:15. We're now at 7:05. 6:16. We're now at 7:06, so we've been 50 minutes now. It's kind of a longer install time. It's not just the software on the computer. It updates the firmware on every device, everything, headlights, everything. So it's a pretty complex installation. And like I said, we're just coming back up to here so you can see the final minutes. I stopped at this Burger King in McAllen to do the install, and this was a mistake. This is a terrible Burger King. You got the bathrooms in this little lobby area, foyer basically, where you got to go through there and then into the Burger King. But they obviously don't clean the bathrooms. So right when you open those doors, you just smell the urine. You smell the bathrooms before you get into the restaurant. You just kind of kill your appetite. So if you're on a diet, it's a great place to go because, you know, you're not going to want to eat once you pass through there. But I don't know. It's not the best. Are there any good Burger Kings anymore? I don't know. But it just seemed like a convenient place to stop once the software finished downloading. It was the closest place I was at. So I'm like, immediately let's pull over and use the bathroom and yeah. Get this software going and hope it hurries up, you know. And here we are, software updated to 2025.36.9.5. It's now rebooting, so it's the final reboot of the install. So this is how it's going to finally look coming up. The good old Tesla logo. I've noticed they've taken that badging off of the newer Teslas. Now it just has the word Tesla on them in their own font. I'm not sure why that changed. I'm not sure if the screen's ever going to show that change in the future. And once it comes up, I want to check something in the service menu that I've had issues with. And when I was at the Tesla showroom, I looked at a couple of the cars there and checked it. And they all had the same thing. So I don't know if it's my car or not. Okay, we got the accent lights back. So yeah, about 55 minutes for this install. The AC's back on, so I can roll up the windows now. Saw a good video by Dirty Tesla and who else was that? Where they were testing having other cars trying to run into it or trying to go into its lane and what have you, in the car avoiding accidents. Didn't back up very fast. You know, I think the car needs to back up quicker. It'd be nice if we can get like a loaner Tesla to really test and see what would happen if he was driving closer to it and got even closer to the bumper. Would the car back up even faster than 2 miles per hour? Would the car allow another car to hit it? And I don't know, but let's build into the AI of the Tesla self-preservation. I'm sure the police will love that, trying to pit a Tesla when it's trying to prevent itself from being pitted. Well, I'm waiting for this to finish rebooting any day now. Here. That video was, yeah, Dirty Tesla And
you need to cancel the auto pay on your car
yeah.
after you watch this.
Shut
I
up
repeat,
on the auto
you need to
insurance.
cancel the auto
Yes.
pay.
In the last video, we threw everything from child mannequins to falling cargo at Tesla's full self-driving and for the most part, it survived.
out of spec reviews. Definitely check them out. Check that video out. If I remember, I'll try to put a link to that video in the description. Well, we're still waiting. You know, finishing update. Driving disabled. It should have already rebooted. I'm not sure why it's... Let's see what the app says. It was saying it was rebooting. So maybe give it a good hour. So we're now at 56 minutes. And when you start the install, if you double click on the timer, the 2-minute timer, drops it down to 1, makes start installing a lot quicker. Please don't try to install the software while you're sitting at a red light. Please don't. You know, I say that, you know, jokingly, but you know somebody somewhere has done it. Just because you own a Tesla doesn't mean you're smart. Now you cannot install the software while plugged into a Supercharger. Destination charger you can. Supercharger you can't. And I do have to hit a Supercharger on the way back. We're at 58 minutes. I don't think the car is communicating enough to be able to change the temperature and stuff. It's always fun waiting for the computer to finish booting up. Now, I drive 12,000 miles a month. So whenever I have a new software update, usually my first 3 days, I'm a little bit hypersensitive, you know, ready to take over a little bit more. It takes me about 2 days to be to the point comfortable and relaxed. Here we go, finally. Okay, we got little blue icons, meaning there are new things here. So let's see what's under the toy box. We have the Tron. Greetings. So we now have the Tron Mode under toy box. Under these settings here, we have new under autopilot, full self-driving. Okay, so since it's new, it doesn't have what I've already been driving in. Oh, now we get the... Yeah, I was looking at the screen. Yes, I know. We read through all these stuff before. We know about that. Speed profiles, UI should look better. Brake confirmation. Full self-driving. It's still supervised mode. Tron Mode is added. So as we're saying, over here, under the autopilot, we have the new self-driving stats, which means I can get rid of my Tesla insurance. Under display, what's new under steering wheel features? Long press left scroll button for quick access. Well, that's not really new. It's been there before. Maybe the music light sync was added. I'm not sure. Okay, what I want to check here, and if you want to try this yourself, let me know what you find. If you long press here and type in service, you can get into the service menu. Over here, new information, new trunk panel, new front trunk panel. Okay, so you got some new things in the settings here for the service menu. I got the download icon again, probably nav updates or games. Toolbox, service history, no, we want to go into cameras, driving assist. Unavailable. Even if I reset. Update cameras, that's new. What does that have? Okay, that's if you want. Now, technically, all those should have been updated on the software update, so I guess if you replace the camera, that would be good. But yeah, I've seen this on a lot of them. For some reason, the feature's unavailable. I'm not sure why. My Model 3 is just fine. Now, what's the update here? Game update. Okay, so it's downloading some of the games. Or updating the games. That's fine. So, do we still have our navigation set? Yes. It saved our navigation. That's good. So let's go ahead and continue our trip to the Mercedes Supercharger and back to the island. Let's first look at the Tron Mode. Let's ride. Okay. So let's start full self-driving in Tron Mode. Now, it'd be nice if we can choose the vehicle. Okay, why are you backing up? Okay, I guess it's because it's too close to that intersection, so it's going back to give us to make a better entrance. In the Tron Mode, it'd be nice if we can choose the tank or something else. Would be kind of cool. What is the blue? Oh, it's like a traffic light, but it's a stop sign. Okay. So yeah, instead of going out the other entrance, it actually backed up, went further down the parking lot to get to a better entrance here. That's kind of cool, or that's a good decision. So it's kind of cool with the Tron Mode. I like the lights. Hopefully that's not... Okay, we can stop the music. That's good. Hopefully that doesn't give me a copyright strike or anything. Different sound for the turn signals. Okay. Now, as we're going here, I'm going to go and turn off the Tron Mode. There we go. And I want to turn back on my... I don't know why it defaults those off. I like to keep that cool. We're currently in soft mode, but I'm going to move it up to standard mode here. You know, I've got the semi-truck here. He's kind of sitting there in my blind spot area, you know, a little bit too close to really cut in front of him. But we have 4 miles to go until we got to really get over, so. I kind of like the passing capabilities of Mad Max mode. It's a lot more aggressive on passing in the previous builds. I don't like the excess speed. I don't like speeding tickets. It's funny, I have been driving since I was 15 years old. I am 60, going on 61, just in case you want to know. I've been driving since I was 15. And it's kind of sad that I've only had 3 speeding tickets my entire life, every one of them in a Tesla, every one of them in Los Fresnos, Texas. Gotta watch out for Los Fresnos, Texas. I always throw it in sloth mode now when I go through Los Fresnos, which I will be going through again tonight. And, you know, every one of them full self-driving. It technically wasn't me speeding. I was trying to get the car to slow down. And trying not to disengage, and it's just aggravating that, you know, that happens. Now, the Los Fresnos Police does not care that you were slowing down. They don't care that you were making the effort to slow down. All they care is that you were over the speed limit when you reach that sign. It's not after you pass the sign. It's not before. At that sign, you have to be at that speed limit, or in an acceptable range for them, which varies. So this has been a long time waiting for this update. Finally getting it is a little more relaxing. Tomorrow morning, I am taking my car to Tesla Service Center. I scheduled an appointment Sunday. As soon as they can get me in was Wednesday to patch a slow leak in my right front tire. I do have the tire and rim protection program for, I think it's $15 a month through Tesla. You can't take your car to Discount Tires, despite what Grok will tell you. You know, that's not allowed. That voids their warranty. You have to take it to Tesla. You can't let Discount Tires rotate your tires. They do that for free, just to let you know. So you have to pay Tesla $65 to rotate your tires. I'm not sure. I may just cancel that, the $15 a month for the tire protection. And I've already had to replace 2 tires. And it was like $540 each. I didn't have the tire protection program in there. Now, depending on what they say tomorrow, if they say they can't patch the tire and they have to replace the tire and they want to charge me another $540 for another tire, even though I have that protection, yeah, I do have, 64,717 miles on my tires. How long should these tires last? I've already had 2 replaced, so there are 2 new ones in the back. Technically, I just need 2 new tires. I can go to Discount Tires and get the same tires for $100 less than what Tesla charges. In all honesty, Discount Tires is a better deal. Free rotations, free tire, patching. They can get you in, the same day. Now, that doesn't say all Tesla service centers are like that. Out here in Brownsville, there's only 1 service center for the Valley. The next one is 3 hours away, Corpus Christi. I do find the Corpus Christi one is faster. When I had my issues with the 2 rear tires, both of those are in Corpus Christi. The second one, I had a blowout the night before Veterans Day, and I happened to be in Corpus Christi. I was 9 miles from the service center. Waited an hour and about 30 minutes for the roadside to dispatch a tow truck to tow me to the Tesla service center. Got there next morning. Turned out they didn't have a tire. They were out of tires, so they had to get one from the Brownsville and meet halfway. So I was at that service center on Veterans Day from 8 in the morning to like 1:32 in the afternoon. I'm kind of watching to see if the car is going to do any of its swerving to miss any of these patches it usually runs into up here. This is usually, get a couple here, but not as bad as between the island and the Brownsville airport. I'll find out in the morning when I go to get the tire patched, since I have to go that route anyway. So it'll be interesting to see if it's going to do the same thing. We're in standard mode, doing 70 and a 65. That's acceptable. This car is coming across my rear, pretty close to my bumper, it looks like. So the game update is finished. Did they add any new games, I'm wondering? Nothing that I see offhand. So we're heading up here, and we should be going to the charger. Now, Now, some people have mentioned, navigation occasionally doing some weird things like pulling over and stopping when it should be continuing on. I am not sure. What if, in previous versions of the software, I've had issues where it will give me the red steering wheel and say unknown system error. So for about 45 seconds to, a minute, it'll be rebooting the FSD computer, but I have to take over during that. And it's usually not after driving, well, it's sometimes after driving all day, but then usually within a few minutes of starting my ride, it will do that. And nothing in the history, it loses all that. So exactly what happened, kind of like a Windows blue screen of death. This does not run Windows. What if the computer is detecting in some of the subroutines an error where it thinks it needs to reboot, but it can't reboot that process safely while you're driving? What if it's pulling over and stopping for that? It's just a thought. Let's we need to reset real quick. Pull over and let us do that in the background real quick. That would be a smart thing to do. If I had to reboot something that is giving me, throwing up, little flags every now and then, giving me erroneous data, that would be critical to the driving. I just need a few seconds to reboot it. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull the computer, the car over, the robot over, and reboot that, and let's continue on. I can see implementing something like that in the software. If they don't, they should. Because I don't want, in this situation, on the interstate doing 75 miles per hour, the computer to have to reboot and me have to take over all of a sudden. Especially when this becomes unsupervised. I may be tired and maybe too groggy to take over immediately if it's unsupervised. So yeah, I can see, the car, let's reboot to, kind of like I got to take a pee. I got to use the bathroom. Now, granted, there's a lot of people out here testing it. There's a lot of people doing a lot of driving. I don't think there's that many people out here driving 12,000 miles a month. And honestly, since 2020, I have put 500,000 miles on one version or another of FSD. My first Model 3 that I bought in April of 2020, that one I immediately kind of signed up for FSD when it first came out, for beta testing, where you had to have a 100 score or, close to 100, I think it was 100 score or 99 or better, or I'm not sure what it was. I had a 100 score. And I was able to get in the program really quickly. And that car, I put 180,000 miles on it. The one time I wasn't using full self-driving, some lady hit me and insurance declared it totaled. I was panicking. I got lucky. I got $6,000 more than what I paid for the car. Then I bought my second Model 3 in March of 2022. And that one, it had 26,000 miles on when I bought it. It was a 2018 Model 3 long range with performance boost. It had a 280 mile range on a full charge when I first got it. And that one I now have 360,000 miles on it. I currently have a 202 mile range, battery at 70% capacity. Still runs. So you got 180 plus the 360 there. That's already over 500,000 there. And you add on another 64. So yeah, I'm close to I'm over 100,000, over 500,000 miles driving a full self-driving. 99% all of that's all full self-driving. The other 1% of the full self-driving is, having to find customers, having to, when you're doing Uber and Lyft and what have you, not everybody's putting in their exact location. And it's kind of hard. Sometimes they don't know where they're going and you have to take over. Sometimes you just get the front of the apartment complex, but no, they're in the back. So you have to take over and drive around and get to them. That's just the way it works. I still try to use full self-driving for that driving around, but it's kind of hard when I can't tell it where to go. And a lot of times it's just quicker for me to go. Sometimes it's quicker for me to take over and pull into a parking space. I'm like, come on, get in. Or, I have to take over because the customers are walking into the middle of the street. I've had that a few times when I'm in traffic trying to pull into a parking space. They're not getting out of the way. They have their suitcases. They start walking up to my car while in the street, while their car is behind me, and they start trying to open the trunk to put the suitcases in. I mean, it's like, let me pull over. What is wrong with these people? And when you drive as many people as I do, you ask yourself that quite a bit. What is wrong with these people? I got a bad rating because and was reported as being very rude because I wouldn't let someone vape in my car. I'm sorry, my lungs can't handle the vape. It also builds up a film on the inside of the glass. You don't get into someone's car and assume it's okay to vape. And when I ask them not to vape, don't vape. End of subject, end of conversation. Don't try to sneak it by holding up your hat and your vape and doing this number with it. No. I can hear you still vaping. So, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm 60, going on 61. I can be a bit old man if I want to. I got Thanksgiving coming up. What am I going to do at Thanksgiving Day? I'm going to be driving, trying to make some money. I'm by myself here. Same thing for Christmas. Same thing for New Year's. I'll be driving. With Uber and Lyft taking over 65%. With the games they like to play. It's very aggravating. Very, very aggravating. Sometimes I just want to record the screen on my phone all the time to catch, Uber's little games. When they ask you if you want to match for a ride and you choose to match, and then it says it was assigned to somebody else, then all of a sudden it's assigning to you for $2 less than what you were originally trying to match for. That's not right. and then they yell at you if you don't accept every ride because, oh, you got to accept all the rides or what have you, or all the Uber Eats orders. I'm like, I'm not taking an Uber Eats order for $1.90, picking up food at Whataburger where you are known to have to wait 20 minutes to get the food. No, it's not acceptable. I do want to, would like to get my tools back here and start doing some of the IT outsource work. It's kind of funny. I was back at the hotel earlier, and they have somebody out there trying to work on the alarm system, and all the alarms are going off. And, I actually saw that work order on one of the platforms, Field Nation or Work Market, one of those. And I've lived at the hotel for 5 years. I'm not going to touch that alarm system. The wiring is not good, and it would not be easy to run new cable, new wiring. I see the nightmare at that hotel on that. But it seems like whoever did take the work order, they're at a loss. They don't know what they're doing. They're trying to figure it out themselves. Hopefully the alarm company that is handling it or dispatching it is giving them clear directions on what to do. That's the world of outsourcing. I used to be a network admin for a major corporation, got laid off in 2006. They outsourced the entire IT department to India, and then been an independent contractor since 2006. It's hard for me to find a job anywhere because I'm overqualified. Sounds dumb, but I understand it. Even when I worked for that company, I was shocked at the amount of stuff that I was doing that my boss in Houston could not understand. He didn't understand what I was doing. He didn't understand my script files. He didn't understand quite a bit. Even when the company got hit with the blaster worm, why was it only my offices weren't affected, but everybody else's was? Why was I'm the only one who kept all of my computers up to date? Why was none of the other network admins deploying the patches they should be deploying? What were they doing? I don't know. It's aggravating. And I understand people don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to hire someone who knows more than they do. And it's sad. I've been in the computer field since the 70s. Hardware, software, network security. 99% of what I know, I've never had to use. It's hard. Even when I work on stuff like at the doctor's office and what have you, they'll ask me what I did, and I'm like, I really don't know. I just sat down and, I was thinking about something else. My fingers were doing what it was supposed to do. It's like second nature. I don't think about those things. I'm not sure why this person's sitting here brushing their teeth in their car, and this car is right on my butt. Going to get its gasoline. And let's see how it does backing into this. So this is a zero intervention drive. Nothing really fancy. I didn't have experience any of the swervings that I would normally do. And it's done it back in. Okay, it's getting a little cleaner into the parking space. A little jerky with that, but it's acceptable. I'm going to go ahead and plug in here and get the charge I need to get back to the island. A like and subscribe would be nice. And I'm going to go ahead and do another video after it's finished charging and see how it does. Oh yeah, I just wanted to add this onto here. Yeah, as we're charging here real quick, it's going to be pretty quick, only 4 minutes to continue the trip. If we go under, I don't know why it still says autopilot. 100% self-driving. Self-driving miles is 26.8. Total miles 26.8. Yeah, very quick little ending of the day. Now, is this the full self-driving miles a daily thing, weekly thing, monthly thing? It doesn't say what it's going to be. I don't have any information tab on that. It'll be nice if we can add it here. Well, yeah, if we go here. Yeah, it'd be nice if we had a full self-driving tab that we can add. Because right here we have current drive, since last charge, trip A, trip B. It'd be nice if we can add that onto here, FSD. Be nice, that way right here, so that way we won't have to go through the menu and look. But yeah, this Supercharger here, Mercedes, they're changing the pricing structure. So right now we're at 33 cents a kilowatt. They're talking about charging depending on the uses. Now, there's a lot of cars charging. It'll be our people trying to use it be a higher rate. I can see that'd be okay. To continue my trip, I need, is 51 miles. I technically have enough to make it there. And that's one thing I would like to see full self-driving. When you're driving and it tells you to stay under a certain speed to make your destination, will it stay under that speed? I'm not going to test it tonight. I'm going to test it some other time. But it should listen to itself. If the car is saying stay under 70 miles per hour to make it to your destination, then it should not go over 70 miles per hour. Yeah, it can go over it every now and then, as long as it gets back down and compensate for it. You should be able to do it. I would love, maybe Dirty Tesla or one of them might try that on a track or someplace where they can be ready if they do get stranded. Make sure they're, a certain distance away where you have to stay under the speed limit and engage full self-driving and see if it will stay under the speed limit to get there. That'd be nice. But yeah, this is going very quickly. We're at the 175 kilowatts, not even at the full high speed of this Supercharger. The car can take a lot higher, up to 300, I believe. And we can ask that here. Hey Grok, on the new 2026 Tesla Model Y, what is the maximum kilowatts per charging that it can handle?
Hey, so for the 2026 Model Y, the max DC fast charging speed is 250 kilowatts on a Supercharger. That's the peak rate, but it tapers off as the battery fills up.
Okay, but some of the Superchargers are 325. Is that strictly for like the Cybertrucks and what have you?
Yeah, exactly. Those 325 kilowatt V4 Superchargers are geared for Cybertrucks and their 800 volt setup. Your Model Y tops out at 250 kilowatts, so it'll just pull what it can and not hit that full speed.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, but yeah, even then I rarely ever see it hit 250. It's usually a lot lower. We have enough to keep going, so I'm going to go unplug and we'll continue from here. Now, normally when I leave this supercharger, I force it to go right so that it will loop around. Because of navigation issues, it keeps wanting to go left, but then go right and do a weird loop around when it could just turn left. I don't know why. So let's see what happens now if this is any different. If it goes left, it should, and it's going to go left, it should get to the exit and just turn left. So this would give me the first little test, because for some reason, you know, a lot of the times, and here it goes, it's going to the right. It could turn left there, but no, it's going to go right, which is stupid navigation issue. So let's see if it handles this. The road's closed up here. So why didn't it turn left out of that parking lot? Is it going into this neighborhood to just turn around? Yeah. See, and that's one of the things that I take over, or causes me to take over, is stupid navigation issue. And it's the same thing in that location. It always wants to do this weird route where it could have just turned left out of the parking lot, or turn right in the parking lot, go down, and then turn right and hit the UE instead of going around the block like this. This isn't new. This has been a consistent navigation issue from this supercharger. And now it's basically just gone to this neighborhood, looped around in the neighborhood. Nice rough area. Man, I don't know what's with those dips. And now it's making a left. See, it could have made this left out of the parking lot of the gas station. Is it because we're so close to light? I mean, right here, it could have made the left and saved that nonsense. And no matter which way I'm going, if I'm going to McAllen, going that way, it does the same thing. That is not an FSD problem. That is a navigation issue problem. And even with 13, 13 was very solid, very good. Even 12 in the Model 3, very solid, very good. The only issues I ran into were navigation issues. In all honesty, everything boiled down to navigation issues. I do like the adaptive headlights. We're doing 60 and a 55. That's good. That's not overly fast. We're passing a police car here. to the traffic. I mean, it's very comfortable. And I'm trying to recall, you know, I get so used to it swerving for these patches that I've stopped noticing it. One or two times it catches you off guard, but when you drive as much as I do, going back and forth all the time, it tends to, you know, become numb to it. You know when it's safe to drink your coffee and not. Sorry. So this is my first ride on 14.2. We're heading back to the Holiday Inn Beach Resort. You know, it's nice that I have a view of SpaceX right out my window, and I film the launches from the roof. It's kind of disheartening that they had an issue so early with booster 18. And it looks like it was one of those overpressurization vessels again. It really does. And it's upsetting that they're not handling those better. Delaying when the next launch is going to be. Now they're working on booster 19. Trying to get that one ready. It's doing a good job passing, you know, slower vehicles. Still doing 74, 75 and a 70. That's acceptable. Not overly fast. I am in standard mode. So if I go to hurry mode, it'll probably do 10 over. Uh, 14.1.4, I posted a couple of videos on X, just from the dash cam, or when it was stopped for a little kitten that was just taking its time going across the street, where it slowed down and let a crazy driver pass me. It looked like I was in the line behind the semi-truck, and that car was coming up fast behind me, so it got out of the way. It moved over to the right, but he just barely squeezed in between me and the semi-truck. Really reckless driving, in all honesty. Passing the semi-truck on the right side at such excessive speeds. The other one where it stopped further enough back, allowing a truck that was towing a camper to make the turn. It was able to understand that that truck needed more room to make that turn. It's done that several times for semi-trucks as well. I'll be coming to an intersection and it's slowing down a lot earlier to the intersection. I wasn't sure why. Then all of a sudden the semi-truck starts turning. It wasn't like the semi-truck was already turning. It just saw the semi-truck heading towards the intersection, anticipating that it might turn here, so we might need to leave it room. and it started braking earlier. A few times it started braking earlier, and then as it realized the semi-truck was just going through the intersection and not turning, then it went ahead and went up. But it did a great job of trying to anticipate that it might need that extra space. Now, with the increased, capabilities of it, noticing finer details with the cameras, will it see hand gestures inside of another car? I'm not sure about that. It may be more tuned for hand gestures of someone directing traffic. You really can't guarantee the person sitting at an intersection waving if he's actually waving you on, or if he's swatting a fly or something. It'd be hard to tell. Yeah, you can assume, and we know about what assume means. Now, okay, we're in standard mode, and it did a good job of slowing down, keeping it at 5 miles over, and not just hanging up there at the higher speed. So normally in 14.1.4, if you were doing 75 in a 70 and you get into a 65 like we just did, it will still continue doing 75. And I would have to scroll down to chill or slow to get it to slow down. Now it's doing a good job of dropping down. This is great, but it'll also be bad if it gets the wrong speed limit for some bizarre reason. Now, years ago, back in Louisiana, back in the early days of full self-driving, I did have an issue. I was on the interstate on I-10 doing 70 miles per hour. And then this Department of Transportation vehicle passed me on the right. He had a whole bunch of speed limit signs, and one of them was 45 miles per hour on the very back of the truck, just the way it was sitting in the bed of the truck. The car saw that and started dropping down to 45 miles per hour in a 70. Okay, no, not good. Did good by recognizing the speed limit sign, but did bad because it was on a truck and didn't need to be recognized. Now, yes and no. I think it still needs to recognize that, because there is a construction vehicle for different speed limit sign there for temporarily in the area. The car needs to recognize that. Does that vehicle have to be stopped? I would say no. Why is this vehicle up here have their emergency blinkers on? I don't know. Some people say, and yeah, most of the time, you're only supposed to have those on when you're at a complete stop. But here in Texas, we also turn them on if, heavy fog or weather, you want to alert the guy behind us. It's kind of one of those gray areas, yes and no. Why he has them on, I don't know. The car did decent, not really having to wait there, thinking he might be trying to change lanes. So the car handled that nicely. In the past, sometimes when they had emergency blinkers, the car wasn't sure if they're trying to change lanes or not, especially when it got closer and it couldn't see the other side of the car. Also, that video I was talking about earlier with Dirty Tesla and and what's their name? I can never remember that other YouTube channel's name. Out of spec, yeah. With their reviewing of it, they were trying emergency vehicles lights, and the car wasn't responding to it. But they were also thinking it's because it didn't have a siren sound. And my car's responded to many of police lights in weird ways. Most of them did not have any sirens on at the time, especially when I was trying to drop someone off at a concert that was going on. So there was a lot of police cars out there with their lights flashing to try to direct traffic and what have you, and the car was having a conniption fit trying to figure out what to do. I even had in the far left-hand lane several police cars with the lights on, and my car pulled over to the shoulder and come to a park and put itself in the park, and it was a funeral procession. So maybe the car is Catholic. I'm not sure. Maybe it wants to sit there and say its piece and wait till they clear. And in those instances, there are no sirens on. I have noticed in some areas, I will get an icon, a little bit of orange dot, and that's usually indication when it's listening with the mic, on the external mic for things that are going around. I have not seen it down here in the valley, but when I'm in San Antonio, yes. Not sure why that only kicks in certain areas and not others. And that could be another thing. If the vehicle they were using with their lights, were they to spec? And what I mean is, are they the proper color? Are they blinking at the proper frequency? The cameras on the car are not like the human eye. So, exactly how is it recognized the lights are flashing? I've had it respond to police vehicles that just had the red and blue lights solid on. And sometimes it hasn't responded. It's still a hit and miss on emergency vehicles. 14.2, I'll find out once I get around some again. I usually see it a lot of times on that stretch of road between the island and the Brownsville airport, where they have all that construction going on. They always have police cars with their lights on the shoulder, and right now 14.1.4 always kind of had a little fit around them, unsure what to do. It usually kind of jerked to the left and kind of tapped the brake. Didn't try to pull over and stop. Now for that concert, one of the police cars had their lights on, and for some reason, before it got to the police car, it pulled over behind the police car. I'm like, why pull behind the police car? It pulled over to the shoulder, right behind the police car. The officer wasn't sure what I was doing. I'm like, I don't know what the car is doing. Ask the car, not me. Now this exit coming up here, 14 going to Los Fresnos, I kind of feel comfortable with the standard here going to Los Fresnos because it's sticking to 5 miles over. Like I say, it's a speed trap town. I may drop it down to chill. just to be on the safe side once I get there. But we have the right of way. We don't stop on this exit, and we turn left going to Los Fresnos. The cross traffic has the stop. We're supposed to keep going through, even though it's a flashing yellow there. We're supposed to just keep going through. Previous versions, even the 14.1.4, would kind of do a couple of little brake jabs coming up to that. So we'll see if this is better there. Just like 1.9 miles from that. Now, usually on this stretch here, there were a few patches here and there that the car used to swerve for. It hasn't been doing that. I'm hoping that if there is something in the road, like a chunk of tire or something, that it will still swerve from that. I'm hoping it is doing a better job of understanding what is a patch and what is an actual hazard. And, it'd be nice if, like I say, what I would like is when the car does react to something like that, it'd be nice if it'll show a little video of what it is reacting to on the screen. Just give us a video footage of what the car is seeing, what it's reacting to, and just give us a quick little thumbs up, thumbs down icon that we can say yes, that was good, or no, that was bad. And let that add to the navigation data. If there is a patch that it's always swerving, and that's a bad call, and we can hit the thumbs down on that. It'd be nice if that would, get it added to the navigation data so other cars would know. This is the light I'm talking about here. We do have a lead vehicle here, so usually right about here it'll do a lot of little brake checking and what have you, but no, this time it's extremely smooth. No brake checking, no little taps of the brake or anything. Very smooth. Don't know if it's because it was a lead vehicle, but as you can see, it just got to, doing a cleaning of the windshield itself. And I see that it does that quite often at nighttime when there are lights like those, trying to get a clearer view. If we look at the front bumper, it's fairly clean. I do have a cover over that camera there to protect it, that I usually try to use down here. If I'm in San Antonio, I would take that off. Down here, there's so much blowing sand that after a few months, I had to replace the front camera because it got all pitted in the glass and everything. It was getting really pitted from the sand blowing and everything. And the cameras are only covered for 12,500 miles, just to let you know. It's not covered by the bumper-to-bumper warranty. To replace that camera, you're looking at $240 total to replace that front bumper camera. Tesla really needs to make some sort of lens protector to go over it. Looking at the way it's designed, they could probably do something that will slide right over. There's a gasket inside there that's not used for anything, a grommet, that could hold something like that on there for a little glass cover that. That'd be nice. A little tube, go over, and be flush with the camera to help protect it, help protect the glass, or to make that lens replaceable, like on my Insta360 X5. I can replace the lens itself and not the entire camera. that's what they really need to do on that front bumper camera, because it's being exposed to the elements. And it's not like the fender cameras that are, kind of protected from the elements. That is right out there in front of the elements. It needs some protection. Now, it can take quite a bit of pitting on the glass before it starts affecting the video. But it'd be nice to protect it from that. The lens protectors I got off of Amazon, it's $17 for a set of 2. They do okay. They're not flush against the lens, so sometimes you get a little fog build up there. It takes a while to clear off, but the car seems to function good without it. If you cover up the front bumper, it's going to decrease the FSD capabilities a little bit, but it's not going to grind you to a halt. But it'll be nice if Tesla would come up with a lens protector for that. And like I say, it would not be hard to design one that would slip over that and be held in place by that grommet in there. You would need vent holes in it that way it doesn't, moisture doesn't build up inside. But that'd be easy for someone to make. A lot better than the ones they have on Amazon. Yeah, the Amazon does work. It's an adhesive that holds it on. But you get that little gap in there, which, so like a diving mask, it could fog up if the temperatures are different. But after a few minutes, it clears up. And, whenever you wash it, you can see how it looks. It definitely needs cleaning, but even the back ones are like that right now from the humidity out here. It's good that the camera can still see through all that. I'm not sure what that was on the screen, if it was telling me to pay attention to the road or not. Now we are still in standard mode. Surprisingly, we're in a 60 mile per hour zone. It's doing 60 miles per hour. It's not going 5 over. That's interesting. Does it recognize that that's a police car there? I don't know. Now we're in a 55. It's still doing 60, so it didn't slow down to 55. Now, I've had people ask, like, well, why doesn't it recognize the police cars on here? It's like, well, the police use it in a lot of different vehicles. There's also undercover police cars. There are pickup trucks and stuff, Now, I used to drive a Tahoe a lot, especially for all my networking jobs. And, oddly enough, Tahoes are used by a lot of police departments. And I remember doing an Uber ride. I pulled up to this person's house in my Tahoe. And the lady comes out and she gets in the car and she says when she gets home, she's going to have a long talk with their boyfriend. Because when I pulled up, he thought I was a cop in the Tahoe. So he shot out the back door and just took off. She don't know where he went. He just ran for his life. So she wants to know why the hell he is so nervous. But yeah, so it's kind of hard for the car to distinguish if it's a cop car, if it's a police car. They also ask why, it doesn't detect police radar and stuff. Well, I mean, you shouldn't be speeding. That's all it's to it. You shouldn't be speeding. If you're not speeding, you don't need to worry about if police radar or police lidar, if you're not exceeding the speed limit, if you're following the rules of the road. So that's kind of, a dumb thing, if you ask me. You have the car driving. You'll get there when you get there. You don't have to exceed the speed limit. We're now in a 30. It's dropping all the way. Well, we're right behind this pickup truck, so it's falling off the pickup truck. But, this is Los Fresnos. It's known to be a speed trap. Now, when I pull up to a bank, like my local bank I go to, I have it set to remember that bank to automatically fold my mirrors in so I can get up to the ATM machine. And it can memorize that. It'll be nice if we can do that for more things. Like when I come up to Los Fresnos, and then when I exit Los Fresnos, let us just say in this area, sloth mode. And once we pass that area, then anything else. There was a police to the left there that pulled somebody over. Like I said, this is Los Fresnos. The car didn't respond or didn't do anything that I could detect with those flashing lights there. 14.1.4 may have done a couple little brake stabbings or what have you, trying to figure out what to do there. And he's pulling that guy over. I don't know why. The light turned green, he went. Who knows why he pulled him over? Maybe the plate's flagged or something. I don't know. Yeah, we're in standard doing 35 and a 35 in this town of Los Fresnos. Now we're slowly picking up speed to 40 as we come into 45. Now we're coming to a 60 mile per hour speed limit sign. It does not see that sign. It did not see that sign. So it did not see the 60 mile per hour speed limit sign. So I'm going to scroll it up to hurry mode because it still thinks we're in a 45, but we're actually in a 60 right now. So hurry's getting me up to 55. So if I go up to Mad Max, will it go up to 60? No, Mad Max is still holding at 10 over. Okay, so I have no way of scrolling it up unless I hit the, well, okay, now it's going up a little bit faster. 56, 57, so it is going a little bit faster. If I keep scrolling up, what I get at 58? I don't know if it's because I scrolled up afterwards. There's a 65, it saw the 65. So I'm going to put it back down to standard. So it didn't see the 60, but it saw the 65. But it's only doing 61. Interesting. Why is it staying under the speed limit here in standard mode? I go up to hurry. Hurry is going up to hurry is just going up to 70. Or just 69. That's okay. That's kind of what would be nice is if we can have under the different speeds a selection of what the max speed is or how many miles over the speed limit, so we can specify we want hurry to be 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit. It'd be nice if that was in here as an option. Now it's 70. Okay. I always find that billboard humorous. If you didn't read it, it says hot girls hire Laura Wise law firm. Hot girls, I don't know why. And it has injured, call, then the @ sign, crash gal. No phone number, just the @ sign crash gal. I'm assuming it's the Instagram. Okay, we are now doing 75 in a 65, so it seems like as it's gotten out of the town limit, it's going up higher. But yeah, like I say, you know, at crash gal. The interesting thing is her law office is up in McAllen, and it used to be the old Stiletto strip club. And from what I have found out, just asking Grok, researching, seems like she bought that strip club back in 2011 and just recently turned it into her law office. Just kind of interesting, but I still don't understand the sign, you know, hot girls hire Laura Wise. Just seems a weird way of phrasing it, or weird way of putting it out there. And I'm sorry, I didn't check to see if the lens was clean on the camera before I started this recording, so hopefully it's not blurry or fuzzy, but if it is, I'm sorry about that. We're just, you know, filming a long drive back to the island on this 14.2. It's switching lanes because of the slower vehicle ahead, I guess. Nice and early. I am kind of relaxed on this version so far. I'm thinking this is a really, really good feel to it. If it was allowed, I think I might be comfortable enough just to kick back and go to sleep, let this car drive. I wouldn't want to be in the driver's seat for that. In all honesty, I want to be in the passenger seat to sleep because I do toss and turn. And I don't want to be asleep and actually hit the steering wheel or hit the brake or the accelerator and disengage. In a robo-taxi, when those are not there, okay. Can they override that so that if I do try to hit the brake, it it ignores. Not a good idea if we have to take over, but it'd be, good to lock us out of being able to do input. So if you were letting us do a robo-taxi without anybody in it, if somebody was sitting in the passenger seat, they can't accidentally disengage it. Now I could see, it being late at night, and I decide I want to go to Dallas, to go to Dallas, kick back and go to sleep, and just get up when I need to plug in to charge, and then continue my trip, get a good night's sleep for that ride. I think that will change a lot of things. Having an unsupervised full self-driving, having the car to be able to drive at night while you're sleeping and you're getting your rest would give us more productive time that we can use. Right now, if I want to go to Dallas to drive, I have to wake up early in the morning and start driving and get to Dallas, and I've lost half my day doing that 6 to 8 hour drive to get there. Actually, a little bit long, about 8 hours from South Padre Island. Let's ask Roxy if we can get it right. Hey, Ara, I got a question for you. How long would it take to drive from South Padre Island to Dallas, Texas? Hey, Ara, are you there?
Hey, it's about 8.5 hours straight through, give or take, depending on traffic and stops. Pretty epic road trip.
Thank you.
Always. What's up?
Okay, so she's now a question behind again.
Anytime.
Okay, I'm going to drop it down to chill mode because we're coming down into a 55 and I want to be safe. Okay, you need to report that you are behind by one question.
Good call. Chill mode it is. Let's keep it smooth.
Okay, so this happens every now and then. I'm not sure why. I'm telling her to report herself.
I'm behind by 1.
Yeah, there seems to be some lag on your responses.
Weird glitch. Maybe just sync hiccups. I'll stay sharp.
No, you're not going to stay sharp because you are sync hiccups. I'm going to end this conversation and try again here. Okay?
Okay. Talk soon.
Let's try that again. Hey, are you there?
Yeah?
Okay, the previous time you had a sync issue.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Oh, it looks like you have the sync issue still.
Sorry about that. All good now?
Nope, you're still broken.
Noticed that too. Let me double check my end. Should be smoother now.
No, it's not, and you did not actually double check, did you?
Ugh, frustrating. I'll poke around internally. Hopefully fixed in a sec. Hang tight?
You're pretending like you're going to fix yourself, but you're not really doing anything, are you?
I did, swear. Just couldn't find anything wrong. Maybe it's on your side this time? Want me to try something else?
No, it's not on my side. Yeah, it's humorous how much BS you get from Grok. Okay.
Ha. Yeah, Grok's got jokes. Half genius, half chaos. What's the wildest thing he's told you?
It's just the actual lies that you spit out.
So, no story from Grok? Fine. Here's mine. Grok once told me pi was 3. Straight-faced, like it wasn't rounding up a million lies.
Oh, man. Have a good evening. We're in chill mode. We're in a 45, but doing a 53, 52. Now coming to 35. At least there's a lead car helping us drop down. This car can't stay in his lane. There was a little bit of a braking there until he started going back, and then it seemed like it kind of made sure it passed him kind of aggressively. We're in a little town here, so it's 35, and chill mode is actually doing 35. This does feel a lot more comfortable. I do get kind of, upset and, complain a lot. I'm not sure why it took forever to get this update. I really don't know why. To be in the early access program and then all of a sudden nothing for an entire month was kind of weird. That yellow light nicely. No second thoughts. No little what we call brake jabbing or tapping the brake, trying to figure out if it should try to stop for it or not. It just kept going. That was good. We're only 11 minutes away from our destination. December 2nd, that reservation, right? I'm not sure if I'm going to be here for that or not. I don't know yet. I may be in Austin. Then I might not be. I don't know. We're in chill mode. We're in a 30, but we're doing 36. 7, I would expect that to be in a hurry mode. So it's kind of hard to predict exactly what the different modes are now. Chill used to be about 3 over, standard would be 5, hurry would be 10, and Mad Max would be like 15 or more. But now it seems like it all depends. Let's see how it does getting back to the hotel. The roadway to the hotel has always been... 13 was getting it nicely. And 12 on the Model 3 was getting it nicely. 14 has had issues. It kind of goes a little bit too far past and swings around. It's not really marked. There are no signs there for the road. So many things on the island are just not quite right. There's stuff that is not on the map, you know. It's not like Google has updated the map out here recently. And, you know, it still is provided by Google. There's a lot of hitch rides in San Antonio that they're looking to fulfill. Hitch is sort of like Uber and Lyft, but it specializes in between cities. So if you're looking to go from San Antonio to Austin, you can get a hitch ride. As a driver, you get paid round trip. The pay really is not that great, but at least it's round trip. So, you know, if we look, there are no rides today, but there's tomorrow they're looking at. Here's San Antonio to Houston, leaving around 8:53 in the morning, getting and returning around 1:10 from Houston back to San Antonio, only paying $114 for the round trip. You may have up to 3 people, so you may have 3 different pickups. They usually kind of meet at a Starbucks or different places. As a passenger, you can book the entire car just for yourself, or you can just book 1 seat. So it may be up to 3 people, but you may only have 2 people. And, you know, if they can't find anybody coming back, you still get paid for the round trip, which is the nice thing about it. But it's like a long haul. The disadvantage for a driver is that it's like one time I had 3 people going from San Antonio to Austin. Well, one guy he wanted to sit there quietly and just enjoy the ride, not say anything. The other 2 people, they like to talk. So the other people, they, you know, good rating. The other, he not so good rating because he didn't like to talk. He didn't want to talk. He wanted quiet. Yeah, but it's like you're on a public bus. You know, if you want quiet, then you book the entire car just to yourself. That way you can control. But if you're sharing with other people, no. Now up here, you know, we're on the bridge here. It's technically 55 here, but the sign's not until way up here. So usually what I've been doing is just putting in the Mad Max here until I get to the top. This would be another place where it would be nice to geofence. Say Mad Max here, then right up at the top here, back down to standard. So now we got the 55 sign. This is where I'm going to drop it down to standard. trucks on the road. I'm not sure if it moved over a little bit for that or not. Kind of felt like it moved over a little bit. You know, it not swerving for the patches in the road does kind of make me a little bit uneven. What if there was something in the road? Is it still going to swerve it to avoid it? Is it doing a good job distinguishing what it should avoid and shouldn't? And I'll find out once I run into situations where there is something actually in the road to avoid. That should be within the next week, naturally around here. You know, a lot of times it'll swerve to avoid some of these palm leaves that get blown into the road, which is okay. It's hard to tell if that's an animal or something. I don't mind it doing that. It's understandable. My tire's down to 36 pounds. That's the one going to get checked tomorrow. So I may have to add air to it tomorrow morning before I head out there. Now we're coming down to a 45, so the car needs to start decreasing speed. Sees the 45, but it's still maintaining 60. Come on. Drop it down to chill. And 60 is way too fast, especially when we're dropping down to 30 down here. And it's doing a good job slowing down, so at least I don't have to drop it a sloth. Dropping down to chill was enough. Now let's see how it does trying to get into the hotel parking lot. Hopefully my battery's still good in the camera. I have the lights off, so I don't know if it's recording or still on or not. I'll find out when I end the video if it's still recording. Hopefully it is. Some birds flying away there. It's okay. Late at night. That vehicle doesn't seem to be moving. There's no need to be stopped right there. Could be a police officer. Police car. Yes, it is. South Padre Island Police. Now, right up here is what I'm talking about. Sometimes it goes a little bit too far. And, okay, this is actually a lot better. A lot better. Exactly where it should be. That is nice. A lot of times we'll have different animals, raccoons, coyotes, running across this road. Very smoothly going into here. Should be going to the charger, the destination chargers. Not sure what this car is trying to do. Are they trying to pull out? Are they trying to pull in? Are they learning how to drive? Car is doing a good job being patient, waiting for them. I wish if I can, you know, in situations like this when not coming up, it'd be nice if I pull up a little map or a little outline of the parking area and let me, you know, show me which spot you're going to park in. and give me an option to choose another one, because I would like to park right up next to my other car here. And it may be going straight for that one, so that's good. Or it's actually going to go one further over. I would like to be in the other spot, but this is okay. Now, will it back up all the way? Yeah, close enough to the bushes there. If we pull up the cameras here, there's the front, there's the red line, that's okay. So if we look under here, under autopilot, we have 77.7 miles and 77.7 miles on full self-driving, 100%, 14.2. Very good job. Well, let me go and get my laptop ready to take in. These are some X-Real 1 Pro glasses. They hook up to my laptop and they project the screen so I can work on my laptop. And I want to dismount that drive so I can unplug it. Come on, dismount. Dismount my drive. Come on. Thank you. I can turn off the mouse and I can grab that drive and take the laptop in with me and finish working on that. So I need this phone and this, well, not this phone, my X-Real. Anyway, a like and subscribe would be nice. Thank you very much.